one today, the day that the energy price cap goes up. And I thought I'd do one because I find this perverse. The mainstream media are so intent on finding out about Keir Starmer's sexuality, about any perversions he's got. I don't get it when there's so much other stuff going on that really affects us. Now, is he gay? Should that even be a thing in 2024? It shouldn't have been a thing in 1824. But for me, I don't care what his sexual preferences are as long as it doesn't affect his job. And to me, if he was gay, maybe it might make it harder to sit through debates on some days on those hard seats in Parliament. I don't know. I've never partaken in gay sex. I can't see any reason at all why him being gay would be a problem. Then, is he is he a pervert? I don't know. If he's a cuckold, I've seen all these things. I don't care what he does behind closed doors. Does he like being slapped around the face with a wet fish while two prostitutes cover his genitalia with fresh cream and jam? I don't know. And guess what? I don't care, because if he's doing his job right and he wasn't the authoritarian, lying, two-faced, hypocritical tyrant that it looks like he is to me, then I'd have no problem what he did behind closed doors. But the perverse thing is that the mainstream media aren't holding him to account for all the lies he's told, energy being one of them.
And that's why the Labour Party has a fully costed plan to freeze energy bills this winter. And we'll pay for that with a windfall tax on those unexpected profits.
They're trying to hold him to account for getting freebies from a lord who, to most of us, we know there's more to it than meets the eye. You don't give all that money to someone or a group of people for nothing. It just don't happen. Unless Lord Ali needs psychiatric help. So we can discount that one anyway. So Starmer, all his cronies, Angela Rayner, Reeves, anyone who's took money from Lord Ali or others, and all the parties do it. They've been compromised, of course he has, but they've probably been compromised by loads of lobbyists from pharmaceutical companies, from net zero companies. They're probably compromised left, right and centre. And the mainstream media are saying nothing about that. Things that affect our lives. Now, there are pensioners, and there's probably families who are going to go very cold this winter. Even, I'm worried about putting the heating on. There's no heating on at the moment, even though it's pretty cold here. But when it gets really cold, there'll be people sitting under blankets. This is 2024. People sitting under blankets, people putting a extra jumper on, people walking around the house wearing gloves, in some cases wearing a coat, gloves, and probably having ice goggles on. It's gonna be bad, really bad for some people, because these prices that we're experiencing now go back 3 years and there's no comparison. This is another mortgage, these energy prices, if you want to stay warm and if you want to be able to eat. And this Labour government, who have brought this wicked policy into power with them of taking away pensioners' winter fuel allowance, of course it should be means tested. Of course it should be means tested. The richest people that don't need it, why should they have it? But taking it away from people on, I think it's 11.5, or someone said 13 it is. Well, whatever it is, they're not earning much money. 300 quid, 1.2 billion that costs to give them that allowance. And we're sending 11.6 billion pounds to Africa to help with their net zero aims. Nothing about man-made climate change is written in stone. Climate change, yes, it's happening. 97% of scientists agree. Man's contribution to it is very open to discussion. And is it worth freezing all our pensioners and our poorer families to achieve? No, it's not. Is it worth moving the industries that supposedly make all this pollution, steel and whatever, to another country so they can make the same pollution and get richer while we get poorer? Of course it's not. What we need to do is invest in technology that's going to make the place greener. And as and when it's the right moment, when we've got the technology in place, we've got the battery capacity to harness that power, and we can actually light homes and heat homes with that capacity, then fine. But this is madness. Ed Miliband is mad. All they want to do is make you poorer. And the mainstream media aren't calling them to account on it. Today's the day when our bills go up 10%, when Starmer sat on television, looked down the camera and said it's going to be £400 cheaper under Labour. When he looked down the television and said, oh, we're going to freeze energy bills. All this rubbish. He's just lied to get into power, and all the mainstream media are worried about is if he likes having sex with other men, or if he likes his bum slapped with a crusty French stick while he's having sex. I just don't get it. What you need to do, and what I need to do, and what I have done, is write to your MP saying how disgusted you are that they've lied about the energy bills, that they've lied their way into power. Just let these Labour and Tory, I'm not saying Tories were any better, they weren't quite as bad as this Labour appeared to be, but they were dog awful. Write to your MP, no matter what party they're from, and tell him or her how disgusted you are and how you're giving up with these mainstream parties. I said before the last election, vote for smaller parties or independents in your communities who care. Not many of you listened, and now I think we're reaping the rewards for sticking with Labour and the Tories. Don't let brainwashing get in the way of common sense. I had to get that off my chest. Let me know what you think. Politicians shouldn't be allowed just to lie, get power and go back on everything they've said. That's what I think. Let me know if you agree. Please subscribe to the channel and throw the video a like. Thanks very much. Bye for now.
The news we've heard in the last few minutes about these astronomical increases in prices is striking fear into the hearts of families right across the country. And that is why Labour are saying the government must act. They must freeze gas and electricity prices through the winter. They should pay for that with an extension of the windfall tax on the oil and gas companies who are making huge profits, and use that money to keep bills as low as possible for everybody else. That is the right and fair thing to do. That is what Labour would do, and that is what the government must now press on and do. The fact that no government minister is available to come on your programme today is just appalling.
I want to pay tribute to Jeremy Corbyn, who's a friend as well as a colleague.
You wouldn't call Jeremy Corbyn a friend?
No. We have to make the case for freedom of movement. We don't want open borders. Freedom of movement has gone and it's not coming back.
Cutting off power, cutting off water, Sakir?
Well, I think that Israel does have that right. I was not saying that Israel had the right to cut off water, food, fuel or medicine. Wounded by the media, the Sun in this city, a hurt for this city. And I certainly won't be giving any interviews to the Sun during the course of this campaign.
Did you write an article for some newspaper the other day? Surely that's not going to gain you any support across the Northwest.
Would you write for them again, Sakir?
I would do, yeah.
Can you guarantee that under your leadership, the 2019 Labour commitments to nationalise water, energy, rail, the Royal Mail, they'll all be in Labour's next election manifesto?
I've made that commitment.
Will you nationalise the big six energy companies, yes or no?
No.
No, you will not.
By the Home Secretary was the wrong decision, and I think it was a rushed decision.
In 2019, you said stripping her of her British citizenship was the wrong decision. She's lost her appeal to regain it. Should she be allowed to appeal again? Should she be allowed back here in order to face justice in the UK?
I think the court decision yesterday is the right decision. The Labour Party in opposition needs to be the Labour Party in power, and a government doesn't go on picket lines. A government tries to resolve disputes. I'm really pleased to be here this morning supporting the staff at McDonald's who are on strike. Air quality, climate change is the issue of our time, and as the Extinction Rebellion protest showed us this week, the next generation are not going to forgive us if we don't take action. I think they're wrong. I think their action is wrong.
You have to choose now between Davos or Westminster.
Davos.
Why?
Because Westminster is too constrained, and it's closed, and we're not having meaning. Once you get out of Westminster, whether it's Davos or anywhere else, you actually engage with people that you can see working with in the future.